Hey, church family, my name is Brandon, and I serve as the groups pastor here at Stonegate. Just want to take a quick reminder before we get into the message from this week. When we gather together in our community group, we really want to focus on three things. We want to spend time praying for one another. We always want to care for one another. And we want to encourage one another to live lives that reflect the things that we are being taught, that the Lord is showing us on Sunday through the sermons or through whatever passage it is that we're studying in Scripture. Application, where we take the truths of Scripture and we allow them to change the way that we act, think, feel, and believe. Over time, we see real life change happen. And so in your group, we want to spend time focusing on that application. And that's why we give you questions every single week. This week, Paul is talking about in his letter to Titus, how when we come into relationship with Jesus, it changes everything about us. It changes how we live our lives. And in everything that we do, we now want to make Jesus look attractive. So Paul, in this section of Titus, is telling us how to work for the glory of God. How do we make Jesus look beautiful by the way we work? And that can be whether we manage our home, work a job, go to school, or even volunteer in our church or our community. Pastor Jimmy summarizes Paul's message in Titus 2, verses 9 and 10 by saying we need to change our attitude, our action, and our aim. Our attitude should be one of submitting to the authority God gave us, being willing to work and eager to please whoever our supervisor is. And we need to be willing to work even if our job isn't that fulfilling to us. When Paul wrote the letter to Titus, he was actually speaking to Christians who were serving as bondservants in this passage. Probably not the most fulfilling work for them. So a great question for you to consider in your group is, for those of us under authority in a job or school or even ministry, do you have a willing, eager to please attitude with your boss? Paul also addresses our actions. He wants to make sure that we're not argumentative, that we don't talk back, or speak negatively about our authorities behind their back. That doesn't mean we can't offer them constructive feedback, but it does mean we don't need to use our mouths to tear down our supervisor or our boss. Our mouths should be used to build people up, to give life. So how are you doing in this area? Are you the office grumbler? Are you passive aggressive? Do you speak about your boss or tear him down behind his back? Or do you use your words to bring life? Titus also commands us not to be pilfering. Now that's not a word that I was super familiar with, but it means subtle theft. So think about, how are you stewarding the company credit card if you have one? Another area that you might consider with stewarding resources is, how are you using your time wisely at work? Are you using your time at work for work? And especially now in environments where we do a lot of remote work or where we work from home, do you have integrity in how you're managing your time? Something great to reflect on and then share with your group. And then lastly, as a Christian, we think about our attitude, we think about our action, and we need to think about our aim. Now, when I think about my aim in my work, I can say that I have definitely been guilty at times in my career of losing my mission drift, if you will. I want people to want Jesus because of the way that I work, and I hope that God is glorified in the way that I work. But sometimes I definitely drift away from that, and I can find myself thinking a lot more about how am I trying to advance my career through my work, more than how am I trying to glorify Jesus in my work. So when you go to work, what is your aim? Let's always remember that we are ambassadors for Christ wherever we go. Groups, I hope you have a fruitful discussion this week as we learn to work in a way that honors Jesus. We love you. Have a great week.